Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to really know who someone is? We meet people every day, smiling faces, polite conversations, polished words. They show up kind, they show up charismatic. But deep down, you wonder, is this real? Or is this just who they want me to see? In a world where appearances are everything, people become experts at pretending. They mirror what they think you want. They wear kindness like it's a costume. They perform humility, compassion, loyalty when eyes are on them. But the moment no one is looking, the truth leaks out. And here's the most terrifying part. You can know someone for years. Share memories, secrets, laughter, pain, only to one day realize you never really knew them at all. So how do you protect your peace? How do you separate the real from the fake? How do you figure out who someone truly is before they get too close, before they hurt you, before it's too late? Good news is, you don't need to read minds. You don't need years of psychology. You only need to observe 3 things. Just 3 moments. Because true character always reveals itself in silence, in smallness, in pressure. Once you learn to watch for these signs, you'll never see people the same again. Let's begin. 1, how they treat people who can do nothing for them. You want to know who someone really is? Watch how they treat someone they don't need. Not a boss, not a love interest, not someone who benefits them, but a janitor, a stranger, a homeless man, a waiter who just spilled their drink, a child asking a question they think is stupid. This right here, this is where the mask slips. Because when there's nothing to gain, there's no incentive to perform. There's no reason to pretend. What you see, how they talk, how they look, how they act is real. That's the raw version of them. Someone's kindness to those who are powerless is the loudest whisper of their soul. People will show off generosity in front of a crowd, but their true self shows up when no one is clapping. Because when they don't need to be kind and still choose to be, that's who they are. And the opposite is true too. If someone belittles the cashier, rolls their eyes at a server, talks down to a receptionist, it's not because they're having a bad day. It's because that's who they are underneath the surface. Rudeness is never a reaction. It's a reflection. Respect isn't tested in how we treat people above us. It's revealed in how we treat those beneath us. You see, anyone can be polite to someone they admire. But how many people are patient with someone who's struggling to speak? How many smile at someone who doesn't fit in? How many lift someone up when there's no applause coming for it? This is how you see the heart. Because ego demands status. But character bows. If you want to find the people who are safe to love, safe to trust, safe to grow with, look for those who serve when no one's watching. And also, ask yourself this hard question. How do you treat people who can do nothing for you? Not to shame you, but to remind you, your character lives in those quiet moments. When you choose to be gentle, even when no one's rewarding you for it, that's real strength. That's real self-worth. That's real humanity. True character is how we treat people who can't fight back, who can't reward us, who can't benefit us. And when you find someone who is respectful, kind, and patient, even when they don't have to be, keep them close. Because that's not a mask. That's who they are. 2, how they act when no one is watching. We live in a world built on appearances. We post highlights, polish our words, rehearse our kindness. But when the lights go off, who do you become? That's the second truth about character. If you really want to see someone's heart, Observe how they act when there's no audience. The private version of a person is their most honest version. What they do in silence, what they choose when no one's checking, what they say when they think no one will hear, what they hide when the doors close, that's the person you need to know. Because in private, the filters fall away. The need to impress dissolves. And what's left is instinct, habit, intention. A person who shows discipline, honesty, integrity, and care when no one's there. That's someone who's living truthfully. But someone who smiles in public and lies in private isn't kind. They're calculated. A person who helps others when there's praise waiting, but gossips, cheats, or manipulates when they're not kind-hearted. They're performance-driven. And here's the thing. You won't always see this directly because private character hides in patterns. So learn to notice. Do they lie to others easily? That means they'll lie to you too. Do they talk about people behind their backs? That means your back is next. Do they promise one thing publicly, then do the opposite privately? That means their integrity is situational, and you deserve more than that. But this point isn't just about spotting others. It's also about choosing who you want to be when no one's watching. Because nothing reveals your values more than the things you do alone. Do you keep promises to yourself when no one's looking? Do you hold yourself to the same standards you expect from others? Do you do the right thing even when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, unseen? Character isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows. The people worth trusting, worth building with, worth believing in. They don't need eyes on them to act right. They do it because that's who they are. That's what they stand for. And that's the kind of peace you want to build your life around. 3, how they behave when they're angry or under pressure. Anyone can be kind when they're calm. Anyone can be patient when life is easy. Anyone can smile when everything's going right. But you want to know someone's true character? Watch them when they're under pressure. Because pressure doesn't create a person. It reveals them. The way someone reacts when they're stressed, hurt, insulted, or angry, that's where you'll see the truth. Do they explode? Do they insult, blame, or become cruel? Or do they breathe, pause, and respond with awareness? Here's the hard truth. Anger is not an excuse. Pressure is not a justification. What spills out when someone is triggered was already there. The hurtful words they say in rage, they thought them before. They just didn't say them yet. The blame they throw when things fall apart, it reveals their fear, their fragility, their refusal to grow. But someone who can hold tension without tearing people down, someone who can feel anger and not become it, that person has done the inner work. It's not about never feeling angry. It's about who you become in that moment. We all break. We all get tested. But character is how you treat others while you're breaking. So ask yourself, when you're under stress, do you lash out or lean in? Do you blame or reflect? Do you hurt people or hold yourself accountable? And then ask that of the people you allow close. Because anyone can be sweet in the sunshine. But life brings storms. And when the storm hits, you need people who don't drown you in their damage. You need people who don't weaponize their pain against your peace. Pressure will always reveal what someone's really made of. And the most powerful people, they control themselves even when the world around them is out of control. If someone shows compassion in chaos, grace under fire, love when it's hard, that's real strength. That's maturity. That's who they are. Watch how people behave when they're angry. And remember, that version, that's the real one. So here's the truth. You don't need decades to understand someone. You just need to notice how they behave in 3 moments. 1, when they have nothing to gain. 2, when they think no one's watching. 3, when they're under fire, because masks slip in silence. The truth comes out in pressure, and character is clearest when kindness isn't easy. The people worth keeping in your life, they treat the powerless with respect. They act with integrity in the quiet. They don't use pain as permission to destroy others. And you deserve to be one of those people too. Be kind to the ones who can't return the favor. Be honest when no one's checking. Be composed when life pushes you to the edge. Not because it's easy, but because it's right. Character isn't what we say. It's not what we show. It's who we are when everything else is stripped away. Pay attention to those 3 moments. They will tell you everything you need to know about someone and everything you need to become in yourself. This is how you protect your peace. This is how you choose your people. This is how you rise.